And so while we, as people might trickle back in, we can do a little bit of introduction. Michael, could you tell us a little bit about what you do?
There's so much I do, but basically, I'm teaching. I'm a teacher. I'm an instructional designer, and I do consulting, primarily in the convenience store industry, but just business and technology. I have an MBA in human resources and Master of Arts in teaching and learning with technology. So just trying to bring all that stuff together to create better learning experiences for people, training experiences, things like that.
Okay, nice. And then Ankita told us a bit about what she does. Shalab, I know that you're having breakfast, and I'm assuming most people on here know you, but maybe they don't. You're like the celebrity on the call. And then when Laden comes back on, we'll ask her what.
No, I'm here.
Oh, go ahead. Tell us what you do, Laden.
Great. So after 20 years of working in the telecommunications industry, I finally pursued my passion for event management, started my own company 2 years ago, and decided that I would help people with life milestone events. And I primarily focus on end-of-life events. I noticed a real need that nobody helps people plan funerals or celebration of life events, memorial events, and that's probably the hardest event anyone ever would plan. So my primary focus is helping on that end.
Okay, you're right. That is really interesting. I like that. That sounds it definitely sounds like a needed something needed in this world, because the last thing anybody wants to do when someone they love passes is, figuring out those last details of the celebration. So good for you.
Thank you.
All righty. Does everybody on here already know Shalab?
Yeah, I'll just go next. So I'm Shalab, and I'm co-founder of uvcity.com. And I believe you all have explored UVCity. It's a platform you can use for your personal appointment app and also hosting your sessions or talk. If you have question, any question, you can reach out to me directly by messaging me on uvcity.com or support@uvcity.com. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Shalab. All right. So as we jump in to get started, I wanted to let you guys know today's class, as you saw when you signed up, I'm going to be giving you about 20 or more tips on ways that you could use to market your business or to help your business with marketing. It all ties together. It may not be directly a marketing topic, but it is tied in with marketing in general. And obviously, with only a 3-hour time, there's no way that we'd be able to cover every aspect of every one of these 20 tips. So I'm going to give you guys a link in the chat that will allow you to actually see these tips in their entirety in videos. So I posted a YouTube link there. And the way that this originated, this course that I'm teaching today, is I did a 30-day training class on these topics in March and April. And of course, those were about 30 to 60-minute training each. So doing the math, you'd realize there's no way I could cover everything in just the 3 hours. So I wanted to make sure you had a resource to go to after this class if you still have questions, or if there's something we talked about that you really wanted to know more about, but we didn't have time to go into it today. You'll be able to go and look on my YouTube channel, which I sent you the link to. And I believe the link I sent you goes straight to the playlist that is the 30-day tip. All right, let's see. So the next thing I have, and I have a list of the order that I'm going to show these things, and I have them like time framed so that I stay on track to give you guys as much as I possibly can today. But if anybody anybody has questions as I go, please feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat or whatever you're most comfortable with, because I do want this to be an engaging course. So it's not just me up here speaking and teaching, but I want you to be able to ask questions if you have them, give input if you have them. If you have an example of when you've used one of these tips that you want to share with the group, I invite you to do that as well. Okay, so I guess my first question is, does everybody know where to find the chat? Here. Actually, a better first question is, does everyone know how to raise their hand? If you know how to raise your hand in here, go ahead and raise it for me. Okay, because then that will allow me to see who, thank you, Loudon. I've seen your hand go up. I haven't seen any others yet, but because that will help see if we have more people. Melissa, yours went up, thank you. It will help me know if you have questions, even if I'm talking. Sometimes people just want to raise their hand instead of just unmuting themselves and go, all right, Shalab. Michael, do you know how to do the raise hand? Or Ankita, you guys may have stepped away from the computer. I see that your video was off. So, oh, okay, perfect. Michael did a thumbs up. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and Ankita did a thumbs up too. Okay, perfect. So you guys do know how to do this. If you have questions and you feel more comfortable just raising your hand, then go ahead and raise it. If you want to unmute yourself, that's fine too. And again, if you want to put something in the chat, then you can as well. Okay, so let's move forward. We did have somebody new and I won't, like, every time someone new comes in, I probably won't ask them to introduce themselves, especially once we really jump into it. But I noticed Melissa is new on here. And so Melissa, if you're able to unmute yourself and tell us a bit about who you are and what you do, where you're from.
Certainly. My name is Melissa Walker. I am new to Fairfax County. I moved here in March. I'm initially from Indiana, and professionally I work in human resources, but I have some passion projects that I'd like to pursue, so I'm here to learn more about possibly launching my own business.
That's fantastic, Melissa. Thank you. Which state are you in now?
I live in Virginia.
Okay, Virginia. So you went to Virginia from Indiana. I'm actually in Indiana.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
Right. All right. So I am going to go ahead and jump into this. Some of the things I will share my screen, and some I won't. I'll just talk about it. But a lot of the things I like to share my screen. So in fact, let me just go ahead and jump into share. Okay. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is as everything happened this past several months around the world, we have a lot of the world has been shut down, businesses and home, even being stuck at home and stuff. So people, obviously, as many of you know, were stuck doing business from home when maybe they weren't used to doing so. And that's what originally gave me the inspiration to do this training, is because since everybody was working from home at this particular time, they needed to know these digital marketing tips to be able to have a successful business during the pandemic. And I know that we're on our way out of the pandemic now. States are opening up, and the world seems to be on a rise. I know there are some parts that are still pretty affected, but I'm very hopeful that we will be back to normal, whatever that is, sooner than later. But either way, I want businesses to know how to use these tools so that they can use them whether during a pandemic, after a pandemic, or anything like that, or even just when there isn't. So the first thing I want to talk about is a marquee, which is an announcement on your website that allows people to know what you're doing. And so I think I have one on this website. Yeah, okay. So up here at the top where it says 33 virtual marketing ideas to stay visible during economic uncertainty, this orange bar up here, that is a marquee. And what a marquee does is it's something that you add to your website. Most websites have the option for this. I personally prefer WordPress websites, and so that's what I'm looking at here. And it allows you to give an announcement, or in my case, I'm giving away something for free, right? It's a similar thing as what you're learning here today. And during the pandemic, when I was teaching this, I was telling businesses that you need to let the world know if you are still in business right now, and if so, how can they do business with you? Has something changed? The restaurants, for instance, in my area, were only allowed to do carry out or delivery, and so that's something they could put up here in this top bar, and it could be whatever color you want. My branded color is orange, that's why it's orange. But it could be blue or red or whatever color matches your brand. And it could say, we are still offering carry-out and delivery services. Call now. And as you can see, there's a call to action button. Register now on mine. This particular marquee that I'm using comes from a company called Hello Bar. And that's where this little H is right here. If you click on that, it will take you to their website to be able to create a marquee of your own. Absolutely free, you guys. It doesn't cost to use this. And so if you do have a website and something happens, whether to your business or to the world or to even just the community that you live in, this is a great way to announce to your supporters and your followers what you are doing and what you're up to and how they can still do business and how they can reach. But if it's not during a time of something bad happening, you can still use this as, let me go back, as a way to market something that you offer. And so in my case, I'm offering the 3 virtual marketing ideas, which is and so it is just videos of these different training opportunities. And so somebody signs up, and I don't have to do the training again. I've done it once. I've recorded it all. Well, actually, I've done it multiple times now, but never in its entirety like I did the first time. And so giving something for free up there will help you even when it's not a pandemic, even just and every day. Put something as a marquee. Now, marquees can also be something that scrolls across the page or something that is on the side of on sidebar. I'm trying to see if I don't think I have one on this side on the sidebar, but there are some on the sidebar over here that you could put a marquee. You could put it scrolling across the page. There's lots of different ways that you could do marquees, but the important thing to know about them is they're meant to stand out and be the first thing that somebody sees when they come to your website. So it should really jump out at them. And then going along with the marquee are Facebook announcements, which let me come to Facebook here. And I want to show you how to do Facebook announcements for your business. Now, this is if you have a business page or a business group. You cannot do this on your personal. And then after this particular topic, I'll look to see if there's any questions. All right, so if I go to my, I'll go to one of my business pages. And I'll go to Fuse Marketing and Media. That's our marketing company. All right, and so I'm here. I'm on my page, and if you scroll down, you can see what everybody else sees. But up at the top, you'll notice there's this thing that's called a pinned post. Now, this is something that stays up here at the top. It's the very first post that people see when they come to this page, no matter when they come on it, whether it was March 23rd when I posted it or if it was today. As long as I keep this up here, it's the first thing that people will see when they come on this page. And again, it's the same thing as the hello bar that I showed you on my website. It is 30 virtual marketing ideas to stay visible. But if you notice, my words that I had put up there on March 23rd when I first offered this aren't exactly what I want them to be when we're coming out of the pandemic. so I can edit the post, just like a normal post would be. And you just say, Fuse is offering a free training program to help you stay visible online, right? So I could just change this to online, and then I take this off, and then I just go back down and save. Where is my, oh, it's right underneath, guys. There you go. Now, how to make something a pinned post? Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to show you guys hands-on a few of these things that are a little quicker than the other things. I won't be able to show you hands-on how to do everything, but I'm going to aim to show you how to do as many things as I can. So if I scroll down, here's all my other posts. These posts are not pinned. But let's say that I want to pin a post. So let's say I want to pin this one from June 10th. I could click on these three dots over here and then go down to, where's my announcement? And, oh, that was not showing up as an announcement. Oh, right here it is. Pin to top of page. So I can have more than one thing pinned, but I don't recommend having more than one thing pinned, because when you have more than one thing as the first thing people should see, then it's confusing as to what they should actually look at. Okay, now this is the same thing in a group. If I go to, let me go back home here. All right, so then if I go to my tools, tips, and training to grow your business group, this is, again, the same group that teaches these 30 tips. It's where the 30 tips originated, but now this group does other types of training inside of it. But if I come here, I can start typing something here as a post, and once I post it, I can make it just like the other one as a pinned post. So if I scroll down, my Zoom information is a pinned post. That's somebody else's video from in the group. So if I wanted to make this a pinned post, which I don't because that's already over, but if I wanted to, I would just click the three dots and then hit mark as announcement. Now, your members inside of a group can find your announcement super simple, and it's okay to have more than one announcement in a group. So on a page, only one pinned post. In a group, you could do a couple of announcements, but I always say keep it to like 2 to 3, definitely no more than 5. So, you know, I've got my Zoom link there as an announcement. This is where I've got people in the class doing, I'm doing VIP video spotlights of them. That's their date. This was an offer that I had going on. And those are my 3 announcements. So it's okay to have a few announcements inside of your group, because your group members can find the announcement tab super easy with this tab. So before I go on to the next parts of the training, I want to pull this up to see if anybody has any questions on the marquee or the Facebook announcement. Okay, looking like nobody does. So I'm going to go on. About every 2 topics, I'll come back to ask for questions. If you don't have any, that is completely fine. But if you do, you can either unmute yourself or you can just type it in the chat. All right, so the next thing that I was teaching was Zoom, which is what we're on right now. All of you at least know how to log into a Zoom because you're on this call. But hosting a Zoom, it can be even more powerful. If you guys haven't yet hosted a course under the UV City platform, I highly recommend you do so. It gives you an opportunity to get your face out there, to meet some great people. I mean, look, I just met like 5 new people this morning, and just from being on this call. That's fantastic. And it gives you another outlet to show your area of expertise. So even if you're not in a business, like some of you I know are aspiring to be in a business, this is a great place to practice. The people are kind here, and Shalav and his wife were so wonderful. When I first signed up, they reached out to me, and I was able to have a call with them and get to understand the platform better. And I teach on a lot of different platforms, but this is the first platform that I've actually gotten a chance to speak with the owner of the platform. So I think that was really cool of them. And so I just encourage you guys. And Shalab didn't ask me to say that. I know he just gave me a clap, and he didn't know I was going to say that. But so that's genuine, you guys. If you have not hosted one, I recommend you give it a try, even if it's your first time ever teaching. This is a great platform to practice on. All right. So use Zoom. A couple of ways you can use Zoom. You can teach on Zoom the way I am, the way that UV City offers. You can do one-on-ones with Zoom. So for instance, if anybody on this call, maybe you heard something from somebody that you're like, oh, that's great. Maybe with Lotta, you thought, when you heard her speak, that, oh, I'd love to be able to know someone like that, because, you know, if that time ever comes, I want to know somebody who I could speak to and have help with that. So you might actually reach out to her and say, hey, let's have a one-on-one after this. I'd love to get to know you better. You can do that right through Zoom. And so in addition to the training and teaching that I'm giving you today in a group, you actually can do this alone on Zoom as well. So there are many times that I come onto my Zoom platform and I teach a course on video, and then I edit that video, and then I post that video. And it's just me on the video. It's not like a group like it is right now. And so you've got those couple of different ways, right? You could have a group training or conversation, or meeting even. A lot of my networking groups have been meeting on Zoom during this time. You could do a one-on-one phone call, like video call with somebody, especially if you can't meet with them in person for coffee because you live miles apart or whatever. And then you could do a private training that you record and then you could post later. So there's so many things you can do with Zoom. Of course, there are other platforms out there besides Zoom that you could do these same things with, but just know that there's opportunity out there for you to be able to market yourself and your business through virtual video platforms. And then the next one I want to talk to you about is Facebook Live. If anybody in here already uses Facebook Live and you know how to raise your hand or do a thumbs up, do that for me, because I like to just see the amount of people who are already doing what I'm talking about. But while I wait to see people do that, I want to talk to you about the importance of Facebook Live. As many of you probably know, Facebook is pretty saturated with people, right? There's lots of people on Facebook. And our algorithm for Facebook, who they show our posts to, or whose posts we get to see, changes so regularly that it's really hard to keep up. Now, with Facebook Live, one of the things I've noticed, and like I shared earlier, I do own a marketing and media company. But one of the things we've noticed as a marketing firm is that when you post a regular video, like what I told you about on Zoom, I'll record a video and then I'll post it. It gets a good number of views. But when you do a live video on Facebook, it gets a lot more views and a lot more interaction. And there's some science behind why that is. People like to be part of the conversation. And just like you guys showed up here on the call today, you wanted to be part of the conversation. You didn't want to just hear what it was, but you wanted to be able to talk and get to know people and maybe even ask questions if you have. That's why you showed up live on this call and on all the calls you guys show up live on. And to be quite honest, I don't even know if replays are sent after these videos. That's something that maybe Shalab can answer in the chat for us. But there were about 10 people who registered for this, actually maybe 12, and there's only about 5 or 6 on the call. So what happens to those other 6 people?
So they can also come back and they can play the recording since they have registered.
Okay,
so
got it. So they will still be able to see it. Okay, good to know. But they won't be able to ask the questions live like you guys can here. And so that's one of the things that really drives participation, is being able to ask what you want or say what you want right on the spot. Thank you so much, Shalab, for clarifying that for us.
Sure, thank you.
And then, so with Facebook Live, you guys, it does not have to be a 20-minute video or an hour video. Most of the best Facebook Live videos are between 5 and 10 minutes. So you don't have to be on there all day. Get on there, say what you need to say, get people excited about whatever it is that you're saying. And then when you get off, you still have people who are watching it even later. So when I ask who did Facebook Live. I think Michael might have been the only person who raised his hand. So everybody else who's not doing Facebook Live, just ask yourself why you're not. It might be, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to do Facebook Live. I don't use Facebook. There could be a lot of different reasons, but if it's just fear, then I encourage you to give it a try anyway, because the people who are going to see it are the people you're friends with anyway, your family and friends, who you're connected with on Facebook. And so I don't think they're going to be like, hey, that was so great. I feel like they'd probably be supportive. You could always delete it if you don't like it, but I always encourage people to leave it up. In fact, in my Facebook Live training class that I do, I force people to create a Facebook Live on the spot. And they come into the class not knowing that they're going to do that, and then they do it, and then they're like, that was fantastic, and they love it. But I encourage you to at least give it a try.
Barbara.
Yes.
One of the reasons I haven't gone Facebook Live recently is because the platform changed, and now it's hard for me to engage because I don't know where to look to see who's watching. Because I like to welcome people, like, oh, welcome, Barbara, welcome, Michael, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see, so I feel like I'm talking to myself, unless they're in the chat.
Good question. You're right. The platform did change a bit, and it makes it weird. But let me tell you what I do right now. All of my lives, I do even through Zoom, because you can go Facebook Live on Zoom as well. And then what I do is I use my phone to watch the chat while I'm talking. So like I set my phone right in front of me so that I can see who's watching and who's asking questions and stuff like that while I'm live. So I would encourage you to get that.
That's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a good
you're
tip.
welcome. For sure. Does anyone else have any questions or comments about Zoom or Facebook Live? All right, thank you for that question, Melissa. All right, so let's move on to the next couple of topics. Blogging and email marketing is what I want to talk about here. The first one being blogging. If you don't know what blogging is, you can just ask it in the chat. I'm going to assume that most people do. I'm not going to do too much definition stuff unless people specifically ask what does that mean. But so with blogging, when you're putting out articles, either on your website or on someone else's website, or even on LinkedIn. If you use LinkedIn, you can blog right on your platform, absolutely free and very, very easily. And so in a moment, I'll share my screen and show you a few things with that. But what blogging does is it allows you to show your expertise in particular topics. It allows you to have better search engine optimization. That's the SEO that you guys may have heard about. So search engine optimization means if somebody Googles a particular keyword or topic or phrase, you're likely to come up more often if you're using these keywords and phrases on your website and in your blog. And this blogging also allows your website to stay current and fresh. So another thing that Google uses in their algorithm to decide which pages it pulls up when we do Google searches is how newly updated is this page? When was the last time it was updated? If you're adding blogs to your website is technically updated every single time you put a blog out there. Whether that's daily, weekly, or monthly, whatever your timeline is, you're updating your website, which tells Google that you're still active, and that's a good thing. Now, how often should you blog? Well, there's no real wrong or right answer for that because it's different for every business and every person. It depends on what your goals are for blogging, and it depends on how much time you have for it, and if it's you doing it or somebody else doing it. Again, I have a marketing and media firm, so we have a team of bloggers, and so I don't personally do the blogs at all in our company, but our companies do have blogs that go out from our team, and our team writes blogs for other people. And when I say our companies, I guess it might be helpful for me to describe that a little bit to you guys. So I own Fuse Empire. Let's think of that as the parent company. And then there are 6 child companies underneath Fuse Empire that are all part of the Fuse brand. They all start with Fuse, but they're all their own separate entities, which means they have their own LLC, their own legal business. but they're all part of the overall brand. It protects, my husband's an attorney, so he helps set it up to where I'm very protected, but also it still makes sense so that people don't get too confused. So for instance, I have the Fuse Marketing and Media, which we do just like it sounds, marketing and media. I have Fuse Business Training, where we do business training, and Fuse Virtual Assistant Services, where we obviously do virtual assistant services. Each one of those, each business starts with the word Fuse, as you've heard, and then it just describes exactly what we do, like Fuse Book Publishing. Well, clearly we do our book publishing in that one. And so all of these businesses have evolved over about 15 years since I've been doing business. The oldest one is the Virtual Assistant Company. That was my very first business about 15 years ago. And I've evolved and grown onto those things, different businesses as life went on. And so now here we are, 6 child companies underneath one parent company. And the mission of all of them is to help build businesses and to help build people. So that's what all of our businesses stand for. That's what we focus on. And we do that a lot by giving, similar to what I'm doing here today. I'm offering this free training. We obviously have lots of things that are paid as well, but we do offer a lot of free opportunities because we truly do want to help build businesses and build. And so with blogging, you have the opportunity to show people what it is that you know. In fact, let me go ahead and share my screen and give you some examples of blogs out there. Now, there is a thing called vlogs as well, which it starts with a B instead of a B. So that one is where you would be doing like videos instead of text. I recommend doing a little bit of everything because depending on who your audience is, everybody likes to learn differently, especially generationally. A certain generation prefers videos. Another generation prefers text. Right? Some prefer audio. And even when you take it outside of generations, even just people in general, we're all individualized. So there are people who like, for me, I love reading. I am a reader. I would rather read a blog than watch a video. My husband, on the other hand, he would rather watch a video than read a book. He actually, even when he reads a book, he does audio version because he doesn't prefer the reading part of it. And so, okay, I wanted to show you some blogs here. And so what I recommend with when you do blog, I could go right back where I just was. When you do blog, you don't have to blog all the time, but you do need to be consistent. So if you blog every week, make sure that you blog every week. If you blog every month, make sure you blog every month. Try to be as consistent as you can because that will help your fans to be able to follow you properly. And then as far as how long a blog should be, 2 to 4 paragraphs. It does not need to be a book. So 2 to 4 paragraphs is plenty for a blog. So if we scroll down here, this is on my Fuse Business Training page. As we scroll down, you'll see the date, a picture here, the title of the blog. Titles are really important because if they're keyword rich, you'll come up in the search engines a lot better. So see how we use the word NFL draft in our title? That's very helpful to our search engine optimization because people actually do search for the NFL draft, especially after it's been done. And then so again, as you continue to scroll down, we talked about here, this one is about Zoom. And then it's just got a little bit of the text here, and then there's the option to click read more. So on your website, you're able to blog each of these individually. You're also able to do this on LinkedIn. And so there's John Hackett. He's one of our writers and one of our coaches. So he's the one who wrote this particular blog. But if we go to, I want to go to LinkedIn real fast. Because for some of you who are thinking, well, I don't have a website yet, maybe I don't even have a business yet, you can actually still blog on LinkedIn, whether you're in business yet or even if you don't have a website yet. And so I wanted to show you real quick how to do that. When you're on your LinkedIn profile, your homepage here, you've got the option to start a post, which most people know how to do that because that's what we do regularly on Facebook and all the other platforms. We start a post. But right underneath it, if you notice, there's this write an article on LinkedIn. If you click on write an article, that is where you are able to blog right on the LinkedIn platform. And then people who aren't connected to you can even see it. So when you just put a regular post up there, the only people who see it are people who you're connected with, or if somebody you're connected with comments or likes or engages, then the people they're connected with can see it. But it takes action and engagement to be able to allow more people to see it. When you blog on LinkedIn, anybody who looks through the blogs or searches for certain things can see these blogs, and that will help you get more followers. Okay, and so that was blogging, and then I'll talk about email marketing, and then I'll open it up for more questions, okay? So if you have a question, be ready for that. And then the next thing is email marketing. And with email marketing, it allows you to stay in contact with your customers, your prospective customers, your fans, anybody who may end up becoming or might be a client or becoming a client or interested in what you have to offer. And so to get people on your list, let me log into mine. Of course, we do this for many clients as well. But this will allow you, I use MailChimp. There's lots of different programs out there that you can use, but I use MailChimp. This allows me to stay connected in bulk with the people who want what I have to offer. So it's sending me an SMS code, so that is fine. Go ahead and send it. That's just for my verification. And so while I put this in, and I'm actually going to show you one of my one of my processes of how I do. It's called a campaign, some call it. But and the reason I want to show this to you is because you don't necessarily have to do a newsletter every month to have email marketing. You can do that if you'd like, but what I always recommend people do is what's called a series. That allows me to send one email when somebody first signs up for my list on my website or wherever they sign up at, but then it allows me to schedule when they receive the next one. So maybe 2 days later or 3 days later or 1 week later. And then the next thing in the sequence, looks like I might have had something in the chat there. Let me pull that up. Chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Salab. Okay, perfect. So what's nice about the sequence marketing or the series marketing is that I know when I'm sending them certain things. So if on day 3 I send them the second email, maybe on day 7 they get email number 3 from me, but I have it set up to what they're going to see. So I'm going to, in my screen here, show you what that looks like. So I'm going to come to campaigns up at the top. And the one that I want to come to is, well, this is the social media stuff. I want to come to, excuse me. I want to come to the Fuse Marketing and Media one. I think that one. All right, so the Fuse Marketing and Media email list. I want you to notice that on this one, down here where it says day 5 of 30, it says the word regular right underneath day 5. But then come up here to this 100-point checklist right above it, and you see this like little, almost like a arrows going in a circle. That signifies that it is a sequence, that it's a series, that it's going to go automatically. So if I click on this, it will allow me to see what is included in this series. And so what happens is when on my website, if I come to usemarketingandmedia.com, I'm going to show you the sequence. On my website right here, online presence analysis. If somebody, I want to go back to that one. If somebody clicks this, oh, come on. If somebody clicks this, and this is on other places on my website as well, but if they click that button and they go to book the online presence analysis to find out how they're showing up online, they'll schedule this. They'll schedule time with me to have this booking, And then once they schedule the time, they automatically go onto my email list. And then after they're on my email list, then they're going to get, oh, I'm in the reports. I don't want to see the reports. I want to see the email. Here we go. So they'll get the welcome email first. So if I click on this, we'll open this up, the welcome email, to see what they get. This is right after they sign up for my list. All right, so come down. Oh, what's that showing? Where are you, Joe? Let me go back to work. Well, sorry about that. Sometimes these things just change completely. Maybe there's a preview down here. View report, view members. No, I want to view the actual email. Okay, so I'm going to go back to campaigns, and I'm going to edit this so that I know that's how I could see the emails also. So if I go here and go over here and go to edit, so this first one, as you can see, is the welcome email. I can click here and go to view email. Loden, you have a question? Go ahead.
I was just wondering, are you using a paid version of MailChimp? Or they're free?
Technically, yes, this would be the paid version, but I don't pay for it because I got in when it was a beta program, which means I have everything for free for lifetime. But technically, this sequence, I think it costs $10 or $15 a month for this sequence.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. And there are other programs out there, of course. They're all going to be about the same thing to be able to use the sequence. I always tell people as long as you get one new client from it in a whole year, it's usually worth what you pay for it. But you got to make sure you use it. Don't just pay for it and don't use it. So the first email they get, this right here where it says test first name, that means if they put their first name in the box that it asks them to sign up for, it will say, hi Barbara, right? It will say their first name, or hi Salab. And then it goes into, here is the link to your free download, right? So people, they were requesting a free download, and so they get the link here. And then then it gives them a next action call to action of, hey, if you need help understanding this analysis, you can schedule a strategy call with me. And then it goes into a few more things of this is what to expect over the next couple of weeks, right? So I tell them right here that they're now on my list, right? And then as part of this free but exclusive group, you're going to receive some really valuable emails from me, right? So I let them know right from the beginning that they are now on a list and they should expect more emails from me. And then of course I have my signature here. And so that's the first email. And then if I come back over here, go back, and then it shows that after that email is sent out, if you look at the trigger on email number 2, this is one day after they get this last email, they're going to get the next email. So the very next day. Now, I always tell people that your first week or two with somebody is the most important, because the first couple things someone gets from you is going to decide if they're going to keep opening your emails or not. So then the second email that I typically send to somebody is, hope you had a chance to look over the free PDF, and then I tag it again in case they didn't. So if they click on this, they're able to get access to it again. And then I'm like, hey, if not, I truly understand. And then in this email, I share with them 3 things to keep in mind that they should learn, that they should know about this 100-point checklist, right? So whatever your free offer is, people sign up to be on your list because you give them something for free. So you have to know what your free offer is. And when they sign up, everything that you're sending them over these first 2 weeks are going to be related to that offer. So this is, let me share with you 3 important things to keep in mind as you use this checklist. So actually some of these things that it shows here, I'm going to talk about later in this training. And then I go on and I say, I hope these 3 tips are helpful. And then I give them a thing right here, watch for tomorrow's email. I have something special to share with you. So I'm getting them excited each step of the way. So then if I go on to the next email here, to email 3, you'll notice that this is triggered one day after they get this last email. So they get this on day 1, day 2, day 3. And then if I come here, now you don't have to send one every single day. This is just the sequence that we're setting up for our company. because we are a marketing and media company, and we're able to send more than the average person because we have a whole team working on it. So then the next one goes into, yesterday I gave you these 3 tips, and then again, look, I give them the download again because they may or may not have opened email 1 or email 2. So I keep giving it to them just in case. And then I give them a testimonial, right? So one of my students said to me one day, I don't like Twitter and I don't think I'll use it anymore. So of course here I'm teaching a class and he says this out loud in front of everybody in the class and I'm like, whoa. And so then I give the conversation of this is how it went. If you'd like to really see the conversation, you'll have to just get on the list because we don't have time to really do the whole conversation. But then at the end, it goes into 2 days later, he calls me and says, this is crazy. My followers are growing so much and people keep messaging me and wanting me to help them with student loan debt. Thank you so much for helping me use Twitter the right way. Right? Like this is literally what Pedro said to me after just 2 days before. He says, I don't like Twitter and I don't think I'll use it anymore. So the conversation there is what helps. And then I give a lesson here, and then I go into my signature, of course, again. And so each one of these are meant to build upon one another, but it's also meant to give the reader an expectation of what they can continue to receive, what they should look forward to. Now, my next email, which our team is still working on some things with this, but our next email for the sequence offers them something for free, another thing. So basically it's going to be sent to them saying, hey, I just created this X, Y, and Z, and I thought that you'd really like a copy of it. So here's another free gift for you for being on my list. And I'm going to just show you the first 4 emails because those are going to be the most important. So email 1, you're going to welcome them, tell them what to expect, give them their free download. Email 2, you're going to give them tips about that free download, some things they should know while they are using that free download that you gave them. Email number 3 is a testimonial or a success story of somebody who used what you're offering to be able to show them the value of it. And then email number 4 is, oh, by the way, here's a free gift just for being on my list. Right? And you want that free gift to also either be a PDF or a video or something like that, something valuable to the reader or listener, but not something that's so valuable that they'll never have to buy anything from. Because then email number 5 is where I offer them a discount. So email number 5, I send them something that says, hey, I hope you've been enjoying this. Right now, we're currently offering this. If you'd like it, you can have it for this discounted price. And here's a code if you do code. Lana, I see your hand up again. I don't remember if that was from last time or not. But I am going to come out of here and accept questions. If anybody does have any questions or comments or anything they want to throw in here, now's a good time. Okay. So I'm actually making really good timing. This is the first time I fit this all the way into 3 hours, so I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but we're doing awesome. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is kindness calls. Now, I know there's a saying that like people do random acts of kindness and every day try to do something random or nice or something like that. And my philosophy is I don't really believe in random acts of kindness. I believe in regular acts of kindness. So I'm the type of person who I'm always looking to be kind. Like I don't want to just do it random. I always want to be kind. And one of the things that I do to always be kind is I do what is called kindness calls. So every day I have a certain number of people that I reach out to. I call them on the phone, and it's just to say hello, just to find out how they're doing, not to sell them anything, not to tell them anything business related, not to schedule an appointment with them, no kind of sales. It's literally just a how are you? Is there anything I can do for you? Tell me what's going on in your life right now. I was thinking of you. I just wanted to say hi. So anytime somebody pops into my head, that's my reminder of, oh, I should give that person a call. And typically it works out in the way of that person really needed a friend to call at that time, and I was able to be there for him or her. And so So one of the things I encourage people to do is what's called kindness calls. Now, while these are not technically marketing specifically, they help in a way because people get to see who you are and that you do truly care. Now, don't do kindness calls just to do them and not mean them. I do kindness calls because I genuinely do care, and I really want people to know that I'm thinking about them and that I'm here if they need me. And so I only do a couple a day. It's not like I do like 100 a day or anything. I do know people who do a lot a day, 30, 50 a day. I typically do between like 3 and 10 per day, depending on what the rest of my day looks like. But it helps people because there are some times when I reach out to somebody to tell them, just to say hi and how are you doing, and then they start wanting to talk business. And because this is a kindness call, I won't allow that on that call. So in fact, what I will do is if they start trying to talk business, I say, I would feel more comfortable if we scheduled a time to talk about business. That's not what this call is meant to be. I genuinely just want to talk to you and see what's going on in your life. So I have to, whenever people do try to talk business during a kindness call, I have to redirect the conversation to be able to schedule time specifically for that, because the kindness call should be just that. And of course, when you do care about people, of course, it's going to come back to you in one way or another. So it's not specifically actually a marketing tactic, but it is something to help you during the time of the pandemic, and even when there's not a pandemic. Just being a kind person is really going to advance you in a lot of ways. And then the next thing I want to share is the Amazon wish list. If anybody who's on the call now has an Amazon wish list and you know that you have one, just do a thumbs up or a clap or something fun like that so that I know what's going on, or if people have them. And I'm going to share my screen again because I want to share for this topic. All right, so if I'm going to go to Amazon. Let's see, I'm signing into my account. All right, so once I'm in here, you can create your own Amazon wish list, which I do recommend doing. In fact, my husband and I are creating one for we got married last year, but we never had a celebration because we decided to get married like the day before. And so we're doing our celebration this year. It was supposed to be in May, but then COVID happened, and so now it's in October. But we're doing our wish list, our bridal registry or whatever it's called on Amazon. But I want to show you, so if I go up here to my list, I want to go to wish. And this is where you can add things to your wish list, and then your friends can shop it. But I want to show you, if I go here to my friends up at the top tab, these are people who were part of my 30-day group that one of the homework assignments was that they were supposed to make a wish list on Amazon and post it to the group. So once I did that, I added them as my friends, and I randomly send them gifts because they did their homework. And so, for instance, I can go to Debbie, and I could look at what her wish list is. And if there's something that I want to buy her, I just hit add to cart, and then I could send it to her. I wanted to see if someone specific was up here, but they're not. But let's say if I wanted to send Debbie, what are these ink pens they look like? Let's say I wanted to send them, I'd hit add to cart, and then I'd proceed to cart. And what's really cool about it is that it does not show people your friend's address. It shows, hold on a sec. Well, I'm not able to do that right now because it did show my address, because I don't technically want that up on there. But it does show your friend's address. It allows you to ship it to your friend without seeing their address. And so, so you don't necessarily need to know where they live. to be able to send them a gift. Now, let's say that you want to shop for someone, but you don't have their Amazon wish list. What you need to do is you go to, I think there's a way to ask. I know there's a way to ask for shopping list, your list. Okay, I don't remember exactly how you can ask for somebody's list, but what I do is I actually just send them a message and say, hey, do you have an Amazon wish list? Can you send me the link? And then I add them here to my friends list, right? Now, just because I ask them for the link now, oh, right here, it shows looking for someone, you know. Okay, so you can send them this right here, and then they can send it to you. But, so I don't necessarily have to buy something off there just because I asked for the list. I like to wait a couple of weeks or so that it's a surprise. So if I ask for it now and then I send them something now, it's not that much of a surprise. So I try to wait a little bit and then I randomly send them stuff. And what's really cool about it is my friend June, I had bought her a she makes handmade greeting cards, and she had on her list a white box that was like a light box that you could put the card inside of, and then it takes really nice pictures. And I got that for her. It was the way she actually used it to take pictures of her cards. She tagged me in the post because I bought that for her. So that was a whole nother way of marketing. Not only was it being kind, but it got my name out there, even though I didn't mean for that to happen. But she tagged me to be like, hey, thanks for buying this for me. Again, it shows another level of caring. People like when we care. All right. Any questions right now? If anybody does have an Amazon wish list, you can put it in the chat, and maybe people want to share their list and maybe gift others. I see it as a blessing others. And, you know, if you're able to bless someone else, that's awesome. If not, that's okay too. But if you do have an Amazon wish list and you'd like to put it in there, I would like to add you to my friends list with that. All right. Let's see. The next thing, then, if nobody has questions, we're going to go on to some fun ways to use social media. So the first one is called Yay Text. So I'm typing it into my browser, yayxt.com. And so what's really cool about Yay Text is that it can make things look really, really cool. So if I say, I'm enjoying teaching a class on UV City today, right? And then as you can see, it has all these different ways that I could share this on social media. I like using things like this one here. I could hit copy over on the right without scrolling down so you can see some more. That one's a fun one that a lot of people like to use. I like using the bold ones as well. Then there's the bold and italicized. There's the cursive writing. There's all these different style writings. And you guys may have seen somebody use these on Facebook sometimes. And probably wondered, well, how'd they do that? Well, now you know how they do that. And so I'm going to my home screen now on Facebook so that I can post that so you can see what it looks like when I put it in there. All right, here we go. So if I click on what's on my mind, I go to create post, I'll just paste that right in there. And do you see it's not regular text? See, this is regular text. So it's very different than the regular text. I spelled regular wrong. That wasn't great. Okay. So what I'll do now is I can, how many times did I go back? One more maybe. All right. I can add color to this. The background of some sort. Here we go. And then I can hit post. So that is a unique post, right? The text is different. It makes it stand out because you're like, that doesn't look like all the rest of the posts that are like this. So because it stands out, you're more likely to look at it. And then you're usually likely to look at who posted it, right? So again, another easy way to do marketing. And then another fun one that I really like is the emojicon. All right, so as we go here, we can search for, and of course when you're on like Facebook and stuff, there are a lot that you can use already. I think this is the Facebook one I was using. So if I'm up here and I go to what's on my mind, there's a little smiley face down here that allows me to do emojis. There's so many that are in there, but if I come here to the Emojicon library, then I so many more. I could even search for them rather than trying to, scroll through. So up here I can say book, for instance. Right? I could type in the word book, hit enter, and then it's going to show me options for books. Well, now it's not responding, so give it just one moment. Okay. I'm not sure if I froze. Can you guys still hear me? Give me some kind of thumbs up or something if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, and now my screen popped back up, so that's off. So when I typed in book, that's what I searched for. Here are some of the options it gives me. Right, book, green book, closed book, blue book, orange book, right? There's all open book. There's all these different options for the word book. And so if I want one of these, all I do is I select it I just grab it, right? Click left click and then select it. And then you just copy, Control C, or if you're on a Mac, it'd be Command C. And then I come here into Facebook or LinkedIn. You could use these on pretty much every platform. And I put the book there. And then I could start typing. This is a book, right? And as you can see, it went right back to the regular text, because the only text it used when we did the different text last time was the text that we actually put into the Yay text box when we were on that screen. So does anyone have questions about Yay text or the emojis?
Thanks, Barbara. So one question, do those emojis help? And
I'm sorry?
do those emojis help or attract more users, customers?
Yeah, so they what the emojis do is they're visually appealing, so they're more likely to have somebody stop at your post if you use them right. There are some people who use way too many emojis, and then it just gets really overloaded and it's confusing and it's not very attractive. But when you're using them strategically, like if you're talking about a book and you place a book there instead of the word book, or if you put a check mark next to all the things that you're like, this class will cover text, instead of like bullets or something, it definitely makes it stand out, and people do stop to read it. It's more likely to get read and engaged with.
Sure, thank you. I've never used it before.
They're so much fun. When I taught this in my last class, these were the two things that people loved the most, was the Yay text and the emojis. They started using them everywhere, and I loved seeing it. Like every post they put out there had one or the other of these, sometimes even both. Awesome. It's a lot of fun. All right, so I encourage people to give that a try. I want to, before I go on, is there any other questions? We're about halfway through now, so now's a good time to do any questions or comments or anything that's on your mind. Well, okay. All right, then we will move on to the next thing. Memes. I think a lot of people have seen memes, even if they don't necessarily know what they are, but I'm going to, again, come back to sharing my screen for you guys so we could go over those. Let me go out of here. And so a meme could be a few different things. I'm going to just scroll and see if I can see. So like this is technically a meme, right? It's a picture that has words on it. You can see this person branded their business to it. And then let's see if there's any more memes as we scroll down. That could technically be a meme there. Find the Joy in the Ordinary. That's an article. Okay. I'm not seeing any, just right here as I scroll, too many memes here, but I'm going to show you what the memes are then. Let me go to, let me go to probably my marketing and media page would be a good one to go to here as well. So I'll leave here. Now, memes can be funny. Sometimes you see things that have celebrities on them and text and stuff like that. They can be inspirational. They can also be branded to your business. And so what I'll show you are the memes that I've branded to my business. If I'm on my page and I click photos, it will take you to all the photos I've posted, and you'll notice a pattern. So here under all photos, you notice this pattern that every one of these images looks exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the text on it. But all of the texts are inspirational because, as you can see what the title of this is Inspiration During Economic Uncertainty. And so this is just giving people inspiration. And so being able to utilize this particular templated meme allows me to just change the text every time, and it gives me consistent branding here. And when you're consistent with your branding, people are more likely to trust you, right? So if they see that you're consistent with what you're doing, I don't know the exact science behind it, but it actually gives them a sense of trust with your business. Because I think and when I think about with me, when I see consistency like that, I know that it's the brand that I know. Like, for instance, Pepsi-Cola. If Pepsi changed their color to like a lime green or something, I would be confused because I wouldn't know if that's actually Pepsi. Now, of course, they have promotions where they change like their logo to like all white or all blue or different things like that, but it's still part of their actual color. And so if they changed it completely, I would be confused, and I would actually wonder if that's actually the right company or if somebody was trying to spam me or trick me into something. And so you want to try to become as consistent as possible as early as possible. Now, there are times that your brand may change, and that's okay. You don't have to erase all the old stuff. You just need to, once you become this new brand, stay consistent in that new brand. Okay, and so how do you make these memes? Well, as a graphic designer, I use Photoshop, but the average person doesn't have Photoshop on their computer, and it does cost a lot of money for Photoshop. So what I teach people to use is called Canva because it is free. It does a lot of the same things as Photoshop, just not quite as it's not quite as great for graphic designers. But if you're not a graphic designer, Canva is fantastic. So it's just canva.com. You do have to sign up for a free account, I believe, in order to use it. But as you scroll down, there's this option right here, Facebook post, which is the one I tell people to design this in because the Facebook post is pretty good with every platform. And what this post is the optimal size for a picture on Facebook. See how it shows 940 by 788? You come over here to Instagram, it's 1080 by 1080. So Instagram is a square. The Facebook one isn't, but when you use Facebook one and you go to post it to Instagram, you're able to size it properly as well too. But this Facebook one is usually the best one for people to use when they're trying to post across all platforms. So if you click on it, it will come up for you as a canvas. So here I have my blank canvas, and I just pull this over here. And so that was just a template. I could use any one of these templates, right? I could say any one of these, or I could start from scratch. So if I wanted to start from scratch, I just delete that out of there. Oh, I got to delete each of these. That's the way apparently. Delete that. Delete that. But what I could do then is I could come to the background, or I can even just a solid background or a gradient background, any of that. So I could any of these, and it will change it to that background. Now, like mine obviously had a white background and then some graphics. You can do that as well. So I could come and I say, I want just a white background, or I want a black background, or a gray background, and whatever background you want, and then you could build on. So you could use elements, which like squares and stuff like that, or these people. So let's say I want to put this square over here, and then I want to shape it down. Maybe I want to run it across here like mine. My orange line went across my thing. And with mine, I have, not that much. I have mine slightly tilted to just add a little bit of dimension to it. And then you could put text in here. So you could choose whatever text you want and say, this is my text. And let's say that for this, I want this to be my title text. And then for my business, maybe I want to put my logo down here. So in order to add my logo, I need to come to, uploads is up here at the top. Up at the very top, there's the upload button. Let me add my logo in here. So I clicked on upload an image or video. And most of Canva is free. There are some times when you will need to pay something for it, but I always tell people don't pay until you know you need to. For instance, if there's an image that you really, really want, and it costs money, then you might want to pay. And then when you are using images, I recommend using the PNG version of an image because it will be transparent then. And so I'll be able to put my image on here and see how the white background is gone off of it. So if I move this, then as soon as it's finished uploading, I move this over to here. Then I can resize it. Get over here. Maybe I want to put it here. Okay. Oops, I moved that again by accident. There we go. And then let's say if I want to then add maybe my website, right? I'd say use the marketingandmedia.com, and then I could bring it down here wherever I want. I always recommend that you put this small enough to where it doesn't make people think, oh, they're just trying to market to me, but big enough to where people actually can see it if they click on it. You don't have to have your logo. I was just throwing something in here. Mine does have my logo, but not that particular logo. It's more of the regular logo. This is our icon logo. You can move this around. You could have this up here. Some people put it right in the center so that people can't steal the image. They fade it back, they make it transparent like this. And so you hardly see it, but you do see it. I don't like doing that. I feel like if someone wants to use my image, if they cut my name out of it, whatever, I hope nobody does that, but I'm not going to go after them if they do. And then you have the option to use photos that are in here. There are a lot of photos in here for free that you can use. And then I also use a site for free pictures called Pixabay. So I'm putting that on my screen here for you too, pixabay.com. This allows you to have free images and use them for commercial uses without paying for them. You, of course, can donate to the images, though, which I do recommend doing. But coming back to Canva, you could pick any picture here and put it in here, and it could be, this can go in the background. So what I could do is I could stretch this, and then I can say position, and then move it to the back. So now it went behind, it did go behind all. And then maybe if I want to make, it didn't go behind that. That's white. That's why that's white. So if I come here, we'll make this text blue. There we go. So that's just an example. And then if you want to save this in, you would click this download button, and then PNG is the suggested one, and then just hit download. And it will save to your computer. And then every time, you could just put your text in the box or wherever and keep using that over and over. Okay, I see I have some questions, so I'm going to stop my share and come into the chat to see what's happening here. Oh, Lotta's obsessed with Canva. Awesome. Shalab, this is good info. Thanks. I never used Canva, but heard about it recently. I use PowerPoint a lot in Google presentations. Yeah, so I do also like PowerPoint and Google presentations, but this, as you see, this is a whole new way to be able to use images. Good. So give it a try. All right. Does anyone have any other questions?
Is this
Yeah, go
Canva
ahead,
free?
Shalab. It is. So there are some times when you will need to pay for it. It's usually if you want to use a certain image, they'll ask you to upgrade. But unless, if you're like, listen, I don't need this specific image, I could get one close to it or find one on Pixabay or somewhere else that you might have stock images, then you shouldn't need to pay for it. Most of the people I train don't ever need to pay for Canva, but they do have an upgrade option if it's something that you do need.
Awesome.
So I pay for Canva mainly because I have events all the time and need to create marketing materials, and then I post it on Eventbrite and Facebook and other things. So to be able to resize it easily and to do all the things I need to do, and it's worth it for me because it's really a big part of my business. So
Good. Good. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Anybody else? Comments or questions? And then as you guys use these things that you're learning today, if you could reach back out to me and tell me how you're liking it, I'd appreciate that. And if you have other questions as you're going through it, feel free to reach out to me. All right. So we have a couple more things here that I want to touch on. And like I said, we are definitely making good timing, so we might even finish before noon. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is what's called ifttt.com, and that stands for if this, then that. And what that means is if I do, like for instance, if I get a new Facebook follower, this is what happens. Or if somebody likes this, this is what happens. Now, you could use this with way more than just social media. People use it for their house, right? If it's 9 p.m., turn off all my lights in my house. There's lots of different ways that people utilize it. But, okay, let's see. I don't
is
remember
this a
which
web
account.
page?
It is. So, ifttt.com.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to log in to my account so that I can show you some examples. And in fact, while that's logging in, I can show you an example of how this is used. I use it a lot for my Twitter because Twitter is not a place that my market is at. So I don't use Twitter very much, but I have to have Twitter because we teach on it. But one of the things I'll teach you in a moment is that you don't have to be on every platform, except for, like I said, we kind of do because we teach all the platforms. So to save me from posting on having to post myself all the time, I do either good morning, happy Tuesday, do something today your future self will thank you for, and then there's the good morning, happy Monday. These all come from IFTTT. I post these from there. I set it up one time and it posts all the time. So every Tuesday the same post comes out, but there's enough stuff that it's in between that you don't notice it's the same thing all the time. And then there's this thank you JJ Chapa real estate team for the follow, and it tags them, and then looking forward to connecting with you. I set this up through IFTTT. So every time I get a new follower on Twitter, I thank them. I don't necessarily thank them. The system does it for me, and it tags them. Each day of the week, there's a positive thing that goes out on my page. And this one that says I'm live right now with Debbie George, and it's got a YouTube link. That was when I was live in a Facebook group. Every time I'm live in that particular Facebook group, a post goes to Twitter for it. So I don't ever manually post or schedule anything in Twitter. Everything that is in here comes directly from IFTTT. So you could use Twitter on or IFTTT see on a lot of other things, but we use it specifically for Twitter because it's a platform we don't really do much business on. So for instance, I'll go to Facebook, for instance. If I click on Facebook, it will show you all of the different, it calls these things recipes, which means you need these things to work together, right? So in order to use the Facebook applet, you need to have a Facebook account, right? And so an example is automatically share new links you post on Facebook to Twitter. So that was the one you just saw. So when I post it on Facebook to the certain group, it goes to Twitter. Now here's some of the other options that I could use Facebook for, right? I could automatically change my Twitter profile when I update my Facebook photos. I could save new photos that I'm tagged in on Facebook to Dropbox, right? So there's all these different things I could do. Let's see. Archive all of my status updates into Google Drive. So get all of them from Facebook, right? Forward Facebook personal post to Telegram. I don't even know what Telegram is. That sounds like it's probably super old, but it looks like people are using it. Let's see what else. Whenever you're tagged in Facebook photos, save them to your MyCloud home, right? So there's lots of different things you can do on here. I could also go to, if I come back, I can go to camera. Nope, that one's not working. Let's see, calendar. No. Let's try Gmail. Okay, Gmail. So let's say if you use Gmail, this will give you some opportunities of things you could do in Gmail. So you can send selfies to your Gmail. You can get a funny quote emailed to you every day. You can send an email or text to someone when you leave work. So there's all these different things, and there's thousands of these different applets and recipes. And so I encourage you to come on here when you have some time. I'm telling you, you will get stuck on this site for a long time because it is exciting, especially when you start finding things that you really like. And check out some of these things and use what you can to automate your business as much as possible. All right, and then the next thing I want to share with you is ways to automate your business or schedule posts, which is a way of automating your business. So scheduling posts on social media, Facebook, Twitter, all of those sites. I use Hootsuite.com for LinkedIn, Twitter, and personal Facebook page. So it's typed up here in the browser, Hootsuite.com. And then for Instagram, I use what is called Later.com, which is Later.com. And for Facebook and YouTube and Pinterest, I use those right inside of there. So, so with Facebook, there is a built-in scheduler for pages and groups. You can't schedule built-in on your personal profile, but you can do it through Hootsuite. So on groups and pages on Facebook, I use the built-in one through Facebook because it does better. And then on YouTube, I schedule things through YouTube as well. And then on Pinterest, it's not necessarily scheduling it. I just post things when I post them, because on Pinterest, it's not as bad as Facebook and stuff, whereas if you post 13 things in a row on Facebook, people get annoyed. If you do that on Pinterest, people get excited. So that's why I don't worry about scheduling things on Pinterest, because people get excited if you put a whole bunch of things out there at once. And of course, because of the lack of time, we won't be able to go through the hands-on training of each of these different platforms. But the YouTube link that I posted in the group or in the chat will take you to the full training of these. But if for some reason you have more questions, I'll give you my contact information too, in case you can't find that, or if you just have any questions. So my phone number is 219-707-1882. You could call or text that. And then my email is barbara@FuseEmpire.com. I'll put that one in the chat because sometimes people forget the second E. FuseEmpire.com. So feel
Can
free
you
to take
say your phone number again, please?
yeah, and I'll put that in the chat as well. It's
Okay,
219,
thank you. Oh,
you're welcome, 707-1882. So I put my email and phone number in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me. And then, of course, I'll put my website in the chat as well, just in case you guys want to go check that out. And then we'll do a few more things. Alrighty, so I want to talk to you about social media next, because social media is clearly a way that people can market their business and their brand and themselves. But people have a lot of misconceptions about social media, and I want to debunk those. The first one is that you do not need to be on every social media platform out there. No matter what anybody tells you, if your market is not there, you don't need to be focused there. For instance, the story that I showed you when we were talking about MailChimp earlier with Pedro, when he didn't like Twitter, basically the way that story goes is that he says he doesn't like Twitter because he doesn't really get any interaction and he doesn't have a lot of followers, and he was frustrated. And so I asked him, well, what are you posting on there? And because he said this out loud in a class, I asked him if it was okay if we looked at his profile right there in class and I could give him some tips, and I was giving him personalized attention. He agreed to it. So I pulled up his profile on the big screen that I was teaching on, and I noticed that everything he was posting was about retirement. And so I said, Pedro, do you do other things besides retirement? And he says, well, yeah, but retirement is what he was a financial advisor. He said, but retirement is what I really enjoy doing and what I really want to do the most. Those are my ideal clients. And so I told him he has two options. A, if that really is your ideal market, Twitter is not the place you should be. Because on Twitter, at the time when he and I were talking, the demographic on Twitter was about 18 to 29 years old. That was the average demographic. And so I explained to him that this age group does not care about retirement. At first, he got a little bit offended and was like, well, they should. And I said, Pedro, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to be honest with you here. Yes, I agree, they should. They really should care about retirement. But they don't. And do you know why? Because they have student loan debt up to their eyeballs. Most of the people in this demographic have so much student loan debt that they don't even know how they're going to manage. And so I asked him if he had anything that would that helps with student loan debt, like pay off your student loan debt faster, or get better options, interest rates, or anything like that. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we definitely have we've got programs for student loan debt." And then I encouraged them, okay, here's two options. Either A, start posting about student loan debt on Twitter for that audience, or get off of Twitter and use your retirement posts on a platform that people actually care about that, like LinkedIn, right? And so he went ahead and tried posting on Twitter about student loan debt. And that's when he came back to me. I asked him to try this for 1 week. He came back to me 2 days later and said, I can't believe this. My following count has gone up. People keep private messaging me. They're reaching out to me. They want to sign up for the program. And he's like, this is amazing. And it was only 2 days later. And of course, it doesn't mean that all the time you're going to have that fast of results. But the fact that Pedro did have quick results like that by simply just speaking to the audience that he was in front of helped. Right? So one of the reasons why I ask people when they first get on the call to tell me who you are, tell me about your business. It helps me to gear my training towards what your business is so that it can help you better, right? If I just started without getting to know any of you guys, I would have no idea if I was helping you or not, right? And so knowing who your audience is and what they need and what they're looking for is one of the biggest places that we go wrong in marketing as a nation, as the world, really. A lot of people market to what they think people want and what they think people need. But it's not usually what your target wants or needs. And so the first thing is knowing who your target is, what they want, and where they're at. If your target is not on Twitter, you should not waste much time on Twitter because you're not going to get results, just like Pedro did it. And so there is on my YouTube channel, there is a video about knowing who your target is. It's a video called Understanding the Different Social Media Platforms. So it talks about how to know who your avatar is, and then how to know where to find them, which platform they might be on based on the demographics of each platform. And then the second thing I want to tell you is that social media doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be something that you post 100 times a day on. A lot of people get nervous about social media and they're like, well, I don't have time to post, or I don't know what to post. The good news is that people just want to know you. As the owner of the company or the representative or the salesperson or whatever it is your role is, they buy from you when they buy. It's you, right? So you don't have to worry about having anything fancy. Put stuff out there that is meaningful to you, stuff out there that that you're passionate about, while also being able to connect it to your business, right? And so it doesn't have to be as difficult as we make it. People make social media seem way more difficult than it has to be. And so I always tell people, take it one step at a time. Know where your market is. When you know where they are, only get active with one platform at a time. So if right now you're hearing this and you're not on any social media platform, I don't recommend you go join 3 platforms today. I recommend you start with one, get really good at it, and then move on to the next one. Also, learn how to schedule things. I shared some scheduling sites with you a little bit ago. When you schedule stuff, it really helps take the stress out of marketing on social media. Of course, our company does offer social media marketing, and everything I'm teaching you today, our company does offer, but this is not a sales pitch by any means. I want you guys to learn how to do it on your own, but there are going to be some people that say, thank you for teaching me, but I don't want to do this on my own, so please help. And so if that is you, you have my contact information there. But even if you're someone who just wants to learn to do it yourself and you get stuck, contact me. I really want to help. And then pages and groups on Facebook. People get confused between the difference between them. Pages is what is your public page of where people can like it. So if there's an option for people to like it, that is your page. That's your business page. If there's an option for somebody to join, that is a group. Now, the difference between pages and groups are pages are, it is typically the standard real estate on Facebook for businesses. And you can do a lot on Facebook pages, but with groups, you actually get a lot of engagement. So the world is moving now, so you should still have a Facebook page if you have a business. Every business should have a Facebook page because unfortunately people look at your Facebook page before they look for your website many times. And so I recommend that you at least have a Facebook business page and schedule posts to go out so you don't have to spend a lot of time on there. But I also recommend that you look into having a group. So for instance, my group that I did, my school tips and training group, I'm going to go back there real fast. This group started out, the name of the group at the time was 30 days of virtual marketing ideas to stay visible during economic uncertainty. I did that during the pandemic, which that title alone attracted a lot of people. As you can see, the group has 125 members. I don't market this group hardly at all. It's basically word of mouth, people telling each other to come into this group based on the training. But what's great about groups is that it allows you to do things like units, which is what I love. I love the units because it gives you an opportunity to teach in an order. Even if somebody joined last year and then somebody joined 5 years from now, they can still go through these units, one unit at a time in order, and get the proper training of this is step 1, this is step 2, and step 3, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, I post videos in here and homework. Sometimes I post a worksheet like that first one. That had a deal. There's sometimes when there's a worksheet included. I thought this one had a worksheet, maybe not. But there are sometimes when there is a worksheet that right here is a worksheet. So that's what I love about groups is that you're able to do units, which allows you to do videos and worksheets and images and stuff like that. the group get a lot of engagement, like a lot of engagement. And then so after 30 days was over, I changed the name of the group to Tools, Tips, and Training to Grow Your Business. And I changed it to that because now that the pandemic was over, the 30 days was over. I guess the pandemic itself wasn't over, but the 30 days was over of what I was teaching. So I changed it to something that people might search for in Facebook, right? But I wanted it also still to be related to what we do in our business. So this is no longer just marketing. This is all kinds of business tips now. So now what this group has changed into, during the 30 days, we did 30 days in a row, other than Sundays. We took Sundays off, but 30 days in a row of different marketing ideas. Each day was a different tip, and that's what each unit is here, right? Here's the Facebook pages, Facebook groups. So it's kind of what we're talking about right now. And so we did that each day. But now what I do is instead of every day coming in here, I come in here twice a week. Every Tuesday, which today obviously is Tuesday, at 2 p.m. Central Time, which is my time, I do a podcast. I interview a business expert in the industry somewhere to give my people more education in business on different topics each week. And then on Saturdays, I do what's called a student spotlight. So in order to be on the Saturday student spotlight calls, you've got to be a member of this group. So it's getting people excited about being a member. You've got to be an active member. So like you have to be participating. You've got to be posting and commenting and watching stuff. And then you get an opportunity to be a spotlight where I interview you on video live in the group. And so both videos are live and they're just in this group. So what I do is I send out a teaser when I'm going live. I tell my Facebook friends that I'm live on my personal page and tell them that in order to watch the video, they need to join this group. And then so that will allow more people to join. But what this does is this is an outlet for me. Right now, I'm just giving free advice, right, or free tips and free training and free tools. And I'm just giving. But at some point, it comes to the point where people say, okay, this is great. I'm learning so much, but I can't do all of it. Or I don't want to do all of it. And then they need someone. And when they need somebody, they're going to call on the person who gave, right? And so it is a good marketing strategy to offer things for free. And in fact, that's something you can even do through this program of UV City. You can offer your training for free for at least the first time if you haven't already. And then people can get to know you and they can see how great you are. And then they may want to pay for whatever you offer them. And so that's just my my thoughts on the groups and pages. So I do think that as a business, you do need to have a page, but really groups are where you're going to get the most effective success from. So does anyone have questions about different social media platforms, pages, groups, anything like that?
Okay, I have a question. Sorry, I'm going to finally share my video. Hi there.
Hey, there you are.
I know, sorry about that. Okay, so I have a group and I formed it to talk about taboo topics since death and dying are taboo. And it's kind of taken on this life of its own and we discuss other taboos. And so if you can imagine over the last few weeks with everything going on with the protests and everything else, it's gotten a little crazy and it's taking up a lot of my time. So one of the things that I've decided is I was originally, as the group moderator, liking or loving or, you know, whatever, those sad emoticons or whatever they're called. I was doing that. And then one of my members is actually very sensitive to the fact that I've liked someone else's comments that she felt that person was attacking her, that kind of thing. So I want to change my group dynamic a little bit and not post as much and not, so do I need to actually tell the group that I'm making this change, that I'm not going to like their things anymore, or just quietly start doing that? Like, I don't know. I like being engaged with my group and I don't want one person to change how I interact, but I also don't want to piss people off. So
Yeah, and that definitely is a difficult thing when you're talking about taboo subjects. But I would say, yes, it is always best to let people know. I think in your case, it might be best for you to do it in a video rather than a text because it will allow people to see your heart, right? It will allow them to see that you're not doing this to be mean or anything like that. It's like, there's something heavy on your heart, and this is your group, and you care about the group, and so these are some decisions that you're making, and you want people to know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we actually ended up having to throw out somebody from the group that had never happened before. I mean, it's a very new group. I just formed it in January, but yeah, I think that that's a great idea. I've never done any videos on there. I have a weekly, or sometimes not weekly, but we have a Zoom thing that we do. So some of them have gotten to see me on, and like see my heart, but you're right that I've never thought to do that. So very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. One thing to keep in mind too is once you change these, the dynamic and maybe add some rules or whatever, you've got to make sure that you stick to it. If somebody is getting out of line, you've got to be able to go to them as uncomfortable as it is and say, hey, listen, that's not acceptable here. And if need be, boot them out of the group. Because one person can make or break a group of people.
Yeah, and the group really let me know. They said, a bunch of them wrote me and said, if this guy doesn't go, we're leaving. And so I had to make a hard decision. So, yeah, but I think you're right. I'll outline all of that. So thank you.
Okay, good. You're welcome.
As a follow-up, you use your groups more for training. And I saw that what you set up with the unit and all that. I only do topics. What value would the units do if you're not like using something like that? If you're not, I didn't really get that part, but like if the discussion area, I don't think I need that stuff.
Kind of. So units could be like the updates of where the group is. So like for instance, right now you're making a pretty big dynamic change. That could be a unit. Like so you could have unit 1 could be like the starting rules and groups. Unit 2 could be, okay, listen, things got crazy, and so now here's the new standard. And then unit 3, right? Like, it's a good place to have those things documented so that if there ever is an issue, you showed that, hey, look, we made this very clear.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, I have a few questions because, as I mentioned, I'm in the ideas phases of my business, and I'm to share it. I recently sent out a survey to a couple of groups I'm affiliated with to do some market research for my company. And the name of the company is Pillow Talk, and it's a series of throw pillows with inspirational quotes and messages as decor. So I wanted to really assess whether or not there was a market for that, and then also determine like what people would like to see on a pillow. And I got some really good feedback. So now I'm at the stage where I am building out my website, and I guess I'm going to use Shopify because there's some integration with Shopify that will allow me to not have to have inventory. So rather than drop ship, I can just print when it's ordered, and the turnaround seems like it would be pretty quick. I want to try it out first to see what that customer experience would be like before I commit to a printer. But my question is, I have an idea so as an incentive to have people participate in my survey, I offered to draw a name and have them gift one pillow to whomever's name is drawn. So that was the incentive. But I would like to take the email addresses or the names of those who did participate and offer them some sort of incentive, like 50% off initially, and then give them the opportunity to become ambassadors going forward. So if they share a coupon code, then they could maybe get a percentage. I don't know if that's doing too much, but I was thinking, okay, I could offer them 50% off for participating. And then going forward, they'd have their own special coupon code where they'd get 25%. They could give 25% off, and out of that, they'd get 10. Is that a lot? Is that doing too much?
Okay, I would recommend doing those in steps. So like in the email
Okay.
marketing part that I'm talking about, you might
Mhm.
have the first email be like, hey, thank you for participating in this. This is the drawing winner. Congratulations to this winner. And then the next email might be like, hey, if you didn't win that, I wanted to still be able to give you something anyway, so I want to give you 50% off of your first order. And
Mhm.
make sure you put an expiration date on that, because otherwise you'll get more sales quickly if you give it like a 30 or 60-day window. So put an
Okay.
expiration date on it, and then a couple, maybe at least 2 or 3 weeks after that, send them another email and say something
Hey,
along the lines of,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm not sure if you've had a chance to order your pillow yet for your 50% off, but I wanted to also offer you this other opportunity to become an ambassador, and here's what that looks like. And
Okay.
so you use different emails over time.
Okay. And my other question was about Facebook. I've noticed that some people, and not big businesses, some, but smaller businesses, they have, it looks like an automated reply when someone sends them a message.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and show you real fast.
Okay.
So if let me go ahead and go to one of my business pages. I think that probably most of our business pages have this set up already too. It's going on my homepage. Give me just a sec. There we go. Let's go to, there we go. So when you're on your page here and you go to your settings, which if you're in the new Facebook, it's over here on the left, page settings. They just changed the Facebook look just recently, so there's some parts that's like, where's that at? But it should be, I believe it's advanced message. Click on that and see. Sorry, my computer seems to be going super slow right now. All right, so here when I'm on the advanced messaging tab, I can come down and see. Where is that? Keep your access inbox. Where is that? General settings. That should be right here. I'm not seeing it. I might be scrolling really fast. App settings, whitelist, no, one time. Okay, I don't think it's on that one. Then give me a second. Okay. And this one? Yeah. So right here, so messaging and then set up automated responses. So if you go to your page settings and then it's the messaging tab, and then it's all the way down here at the bottom. And then you could type that in. And then it could be set up to where if somebody asks for a phone number, it actually gives the phone number. If they ask for something that you don't have as an automated thing, like just a random question that doesn't have any of your keywords in it, then you could leave a message like, we're away from our computer right now, but we can respond within 24 hours or something like that. Or you could even have an automated message that says the fastest way to reach us is to call us, and here's the phone number. But yes, you can set up some automated messages just like that.
Okay, and then my last question, I don't know if this would be expensive or not, but I had an experience with David's Bridal, and their customer service allows you to text, and then you can get a response via text, and I thought that was great customer service. I don't know if there's an app or some type of feature that would allow you to do that. So what happened, I had to update my mailing address for a bridesmaid dress that was being mailed to me, and they allowed me to enter my telephone number, and then I got a message that said, we'll text you back during business hours. And when that happened, they texted me and asked what I needed, and I replied, and they updated my address. It was so simple.
Okay. So yeah, probably the one that comes to my mind is called simpletexting.com. That should do what you need. There are a lot of the services out there for that, but that's the first one that comes to my mind.
Okay.
But you could even just probably Google it. If that one doesn't work for you, you can Google what you're looking for, and you probably lots more will show up.
Okay. Thank you. That's helpful.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions?
Turning off the camera means nope. I'm from
All right.
Maryville, by the way. I noticed 219. So my
Oh, you
hometown.
are from Maryville. Neat.
Mhm.
I'm from Crown Point.
Okay. Just adjacent.
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah.
have to get together sometime.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. So if you don't have any other questions, what I'd like to invite you to do is when you go to my website, if you want to know how you're showing up online for, you know, how other people are seeing you. Sometimes we believe that we're showing up in the best light, but then other people go to our website or our social media, and either we're not being seen as consistent or credible, or we're just very confusing and we don't know that we're confusing people. So if you want an objective opinion of, or even an expert analysis of how you're showing up to the public, whether other people are telling you or not, I can let you know how you're showing up, whether you're showing up as consistent, credible, confusing, any of those things. And so if you go to my website, accusemarketingandmedia.com, and then if you add the / and then OPA on it, which I'll just put that in the text box for you guys, but that will allow you to get what is called my online presence analysis for 50% off right now. It will be 50% off for the next 2 or 3 weeks still. I think it's the second week of July when the price changes. So if you're like, I'm interested, but I'm not ready for it today, you have until like July 10th before that changes, I believe. But what we do is I look at everything that you have online, and then I have a strategy call with you. I create a report for you that you actually get to keep the report. It's a 100-point checklist of how you show up. And then I share with you on our strategy call how you can improve those points, things that you're not doing so well in, how you could do better in them. And the things that you are doing well in, I let you know if you're doing well in them. But it's nice to have somebody outside of you look and see what other people might be seeing. So if that's something you're interested in, you can just click that link, and that will take you to be able to get that opportunity at a 50% discount. If you're not interested, that's okay too, but I do encourage you to follow me because I do give a lot of free stuff out, and please tell people if you enjoyed this. And so I guess before we jump off, I will open it up one last time to questions or comments.
No questions. Thank you for this.
You're welcome, Melissa. And thank you all for being here. All right, then. Well, then I guess we'll go ahead and, go ahead.
Sorry, this is Laden. Thank you so much for this. And you didn't really hit on Instagram, right? I just want to make sure I didn't miss that.
Right, yeah, I didn't hit on that, but I do have a training on it on the YouTube link that I sent out to you guys. But Instagram is primarily a younger generation, and it is a visually appealing audience or platform. So you want to make sure that things you're posting on Instagram have visual appeal. And then you're using the lingo of a younger generation. You don't have to like make everything like catered to the younger generation, but that's primarily who's on Instagram.
So I just wanted to thank you for validating why I don't use Instagram, because it's just it's not for me. And I've had a lot of fellow business women push me and tell me I'm missing out, and I just don't see it. So thank you.
You are welcome. Yeah, like I said, you do not have to be on every platform. You need to just see where your audience. All right. Well, thanks guys all for being here, and I look forward to staying connected. I hope that you guys reach out to me. I hope that you found value in this and that you have time to check out some of my other stuff. Have a wonderful week.
You too. Thank you, Barbara.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.